All right, so let's install Superbase as the first package that we're going to install using Node.js. As you know, with Node.js came the package manager called npm, Node Package Manager. That's what npm stands for. I just run npm-v, to see if the path is in there. By the way, if you want to change the path or want to see what paths are inside your terminal, what is available, in other words, just go to your lesson plan and you'll see there's a little command that you can run. Now that's the lesson plan about the node error. So it is two or three videos back, the video that shows how to set the path for Node.js. And if you run that command, you can see everything that Cursor knows in regards to software installed on your system. And yes, there's Node.js, even Git is there, and there's npm. That is why if you say npm-v, the Cursor terminal knows what you're talking about, right? And it can go to the right place on your hard drive and get your version number there. But let's continue. I ask it, please install Superbase for me. We will use that very, very often because all software we have is really database driven. And it went and did all kinds of commands, but the one thing it did do was install or create the package.json file. Now in this file is always a list of all the packages already installed on your system, and what will happen is it will add Superbase in there, and after Superbase is added there, we can say, and I want to see if I can see the command. I don't see it. Oh, there you go. npm install, it will grab this, and I can just run it anyway. npm install, and it will go basically to this package file, package.json, look through it, and it will see what is installed, and if there's something new in it, it will install it. And as you can see, one package is looking for fun. Okay, that funding is just all these guys that create all these packages do have a page where you can add funding for them to continue working on the project. So it's not an error or something, but it did say up to date audited 15 packages. Although you only see one package there is a lot of dependencies. So that is packages that is needed by Superbase package to work. All right, so after that, what we'll find is probably it will ask us that we'll need to supply the Superbase URL and the Superbase anonymous key. Now in the next video you'll see where you find that, but for now I'll just ask it to create me the .env file. All right, please create the .env file for me and add those entries in there. I will then just paste the real values afterwards. Now let me explain the .env file. It's an extremely important file because what you'll find in there is all your API keys. If anyone else finds your API keys, they can connect to your services that you pay for probably, right? And start using up your tokens. But also, if they have the API key, for instance, to your Superbase, they can go and do all kinds of things in your Superbase that you might not want. Because it's the anonymous key, it doesn't really mean they can change anything, but they can surely add things and view things they should not. I'll just accept this while it's creating things. When it creates a file on your system or delete a file, it will always ask you for your permission first. Now what was created is this .env file. So let me open it up, and you can see it created the file for us and already have everything in there, and we can just go and type our credentials in there. Well, copy or paste them in there. Okay, so the environment file is a file that will never be sent, for instance, to GitHub or to a Netlify or anything like that, because of the security around it. Because I can tell you, you'll eventually have 10, 20 API keys in there, and if someone gets their hands on them, they can use up tokens and do all kinds of things that you don't want to. So the first thing that happened is, after you created the .env file, gitignore was also created. Now we're going to look at Git and GitHub, and basically what happens with Git and GitHub is you can have your code onto the internet for backup, but also for other purposes, and you can create snapshots as you program along, so you can also revert back to a previous version of your code that worked. But there's a lot about it, and we will learn about it. But the interesting thing is a .gitignore is created, and that .env file is in there. That means even if you publish your code onto the internet, into GitHub, these files that's in here will be ignored. It will never be copied over. So .env is where Cursor will always go and look to find your API keys. Right, so in the next lesson we're going to go to GitHub, look in GitHub to find these keys, and then we can paste them straight into .env. The ENV stands for environment. So what happens is a environment variable gets created, and each one of these keys will be in there. But the interesting thing is that even if you're going to use Cursor and the agents in there, they'll never know what that API key is. All right, so it will come from, you will create your app and so forth, and the Java, after creation, the JavaScript will go to environment key and send that and so forth. But it's in no code. It's not sent to a model. For instance, let's say you use ChatGTP, that API key of yours is never sent to that model because it's security, and you don't know really what happens at ChatGTP. Can it find keys and things like that? So you never want to put API keys in prompts, right? Okay, so that's it. Now you will see we're going to have API keys for all kinds of things. We can use Netlify even with API keys. You can install or chat with other AI agents. For instance, we have one where if a user subscribes, we take his name and we ask AI to look at the meaning of the name and put a rebel context to it, and then in that subscription email, put that line of code in there to show how this guy's name has a rebellious connection to it. It's a fun way, a little bit of personalization, but I need an API key of either ChatGTP or whatever I'm using to go and say and let ChatGTP or something similar create some witty paragraph for us to add to email. Talking of email also will use an API key so that you can send your email through something like Resend. That is a program that we're going to, or that's also a function or something that we're going to use later on. So all the services that's outside of the programming we do ourselves, for instance, connecting to Superbase, connecting to Netlify, connecting to Grok, ChatGPT, Kimi, Gemini, whatever the case may be, will require API keys. And I love working with outside services because that helps to keep your program super fast. Right, so that's it for now. We will do quite a lot of API keys, so the .env is very important, and then package.json that you saw now is also quite important. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.